Shout out to Anton Daniels for the suggestion on the DJI Pocket Cam. Very nice. Just want to do something different here on Perry Unlikely and get outside for a minute. Just been outside today walking around, and today we are going to talk about the Polkadot Parachain auctions. Now, I did a video on the reason why Polkadot would reach $1,000. That video was well received, and one of those reasons that I mentioned was because of the Polkadot Parachains that would be coming, that auction, and that the Kusama Parachain auction had already happened, which Kusama is the little brother to Polkadot. So what I'm going to do, this is the first video in a 5-part series, and the part that you would probably like to participate in is the crowd loan part, where you get to lock up your DOT, and for that you will be rewarded with the tokens for the project that you choose, or projects that you choose. You're going to want to stay tuned today because we're going to discuss the Parachain slot auction and a little bit about how it works. Also, we will discuss the crowd loan function. Now, the crowd loan function is the part where we participate. If we want to lock up our DOT, we lock it up, and we are given an allocation of the tokens for the projects chosen for the Parachain slots. Also, I'm going to reveal to you what should be and is expected to be the first Polkadot Parachain slot. And for that project, I will also provide you a link so you can whitelist for that project. And for simply whitelisting, you will receive an additional 10% of the tokens for that project. So you basically don't have to do anything at all. It's very simple, and you can do that if you'd like to. If not, that's fine, but I'm gonna provide it to you. And I'm gonna provide a link to a video that's gonna tell you exactly how you participate in the crowd loans. Remember that Kusama has had its crowd loan, the little brother to Polkadot, so that is the reason why we kind of know how this works. And they really did make it simple when it came to Kusama, so I would expect the same when it comes to Polkadot. So you'll be able to whitelist, and you're definitely gonna wanna do that. Even if you're not sure you're gonna wanna participate in the crowd loan for this first project, you might as well whitelist, because if you don't participate in it, no harm, no foul. And I'm also gonna tell you a little bit about the first project. I'm gonna tell you why that first project is so important to the Polkadot ecosystem, and how we pretty much have a good indication that it will be the first Parachain slot. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, so before you invest in anything, you really should seek the help of a professional. If you've been in crypto for a while, you fully understand that you really can get wrecked, so you always need to be careful. I'm just giving you my thoughts and opinions. Let's get into it. For starters, when it comes to these Parachain slots, the reason it's such a big deal is this is really going to be the ecosystem of Polkadot and really how Polkadot works. So because of that, they're expected to eventually have 100 slots. So just think about it. It's kind of a supply and demand thing. Not just anyone is going to be able to take those slots. So these auctions will fill those slots. And of those 100 spots, they're going to be filled with parachains and parathread pools. If a parachain wants to have guaranteed block inclusion at every relay chain block, it must acquire a parachain slot. The parachain slots will be sold according to an unpermissioned candle auction that has been slightly modified to be secure on a blockchain. In a candle auction, the end of the auction is signaled by the expiration of a candle flame, which was intended to ensure that no one could know exactly when the auction would end and make a last-second bid. The whole reason for that, and the style of this Parachain slot auction, is to ensure that last minute no one can come in and steal that spot by a large bid. So they really want it to be driven from really the excitement around these throughout the course of the whole auction. Parachain slot auctions will differ slightly from a normal candle auction in that it does not use the random number to decide the duration of its opening phase. Instead, it has a known open phase and will be retroactively determined. So to keep it simple, there's a predetermined time when the auction will close. Now, we don't know that. So that's why during the process, as the bidding is going on, it'll even continue after that point of closure. They'll look back and say, okay, at this timestamp, this is who won that slot. So it's to make it fair so that if it were like another auction, what would happen? They could swoop in at the last second if they knew the determined time and then just try to basically buy out that slot. So the reason for the candlestick or modified candlestick style auction is to keep it fair. They want the slot to go to the project that generally does have the most interest. Now, when it comes to bidding on those slots for this auction, Parachain or Parachain teams can bid in the auction by specifying the slot range that they want to lease, as well as the number of tokens they are willing to reserve. Bidders can be either ordinary accounts or use the Crowdloan functionality to source tokens from the community. So you see the teams, they can use Polkadot to try to secure up the slot auction space, or they can do the part that we want to participate in, which is the Crowdloan function. So just to answer some questions that I know everyone's going to have, what happens if you participate in the Crowdloan, which is where you lock up your DOT for a specified amount of time, and they do not win the slot? You will get your Polkadot back. Now, the auction and everything has to be completely finished. There will be a phase that you'll just have to wait, and then you'll get them back. So you won't be waiting the whole time. And I want to say in this particular auction, the lockup can be as long as 2 years. Now, I don't believe you're going to have to lock them up the whole 2 years. You'll be given different amount of tokens based on how long you're willing to lock those tokens up. So if the auction is won and they secure that Parachain slot, then what happens? Then it is true to form and your tokens, your Polkadot, will be locked up. Now, you will receive your tokens. Generally, it's not long after. You'll receive an allotment of those tokens for the project that you participate in the Crowdloan, and you usually don't get them all at one time. So let's say you get 30%. You'll know the allotment of time that the other 70% will come to you. And at the end of that time frame that you locked your DOT up for, those Polkadot will be given back to you. So that's what the beauty of this is. You're contributing. And because you contribute, you're going to get those Polkadot back. So if you pick the right project, just think about the possibility. And I did talk about how that happened with Kusama, and it really made some people a great deal of money. Now, many projects are going to have a dashboard available to allow you to participate in the Crowdloan for their project. And you would use your Polkadot.js wallet to connect to it. And from that point, it's pretty simple. Something to remember is you cannot have those tokens locked. Those tokens literally have to be moved, that's the Polkadot, over to be a part of the Crowdloan. So Ledger, that's not going to work. It can't be locked up. They really have to be accessible. And then you will receive them back. So you have to understand that. So if you had your Polkadot on a Ledger, we'll say, you're going to have to send that to another wallet that's not being protected by a Ledger or some other hardware wallet. Then from there, you'll be able to participate in the Crowdloan. So that's a brief description, but there's going to be a link in the description that's going to show you exactly how to participate in the Crowdloan. So that way you'll be able to watch it, you'll be able to slow it down, speed it up, do anything you need to. But the fact that you'll be able to pause and really look through it, step by step, you're going to know what to do, and that will be in the description. Also, I'll put a link in the description with a really in-depth explanation of the Parachain slot auctions and the Crowdloans, because you really want to understand it before you participate in it. Now, let's get to what project is expected to secure the very first Polkadot Parachain slot. And honestly, this is a moment in history for blockchain in general. Although we have seen it on Kusama, Polkadot is the main chain, if you will. So this is a very big moment. And to be able to participate in that and whitelist and get 10% more, it doesn't get any better than that. That project is none other than Acala. The reason why this is going to be such a big deal is this is the DeFi hub of Polkadot. And another reason we can pretty much tell that this one will receive the very first slot is because on Kusama we had Karura, and Karura did receive that first slot. And why? Because Karura is the DeFi hub of Kusama. All the things that you can do in the ecosystem from the standpoint of being the DeFi hub, that's really what makes it important. It's like it's essentially the guts of Polkadot from a finance standpoint, right? So when I say it's the DeFi hub, what all does that include? You'll be able to borrow, you'll be able to stake, you'll be able to earn. It'll have its own stable coin. There'll be governance, liquid staking. So everything DeFi will be wrapped up into this project that even has a nice app where everything's all in one place. You have your wallet, and a big part of this is it is Ethereum compatible. Something else to add about Acala is the gas fees. You'll essentially be able to pay for gas with basically any coin, and there'll be reduced gas fees. So the problem we currently see with Ethereum, not going to be the same problem through Acala and Polkadot. This one should be the premier slot, but it's important for you to know that just because it does obtain the first slot doesn't mean that that is the project that's going to make you the most money. So I don't want you to be mistaken about that. Karura got the first slot on Kusama, but it did not make the most money. Now it did well, but Moon River is the one that took the show, or at least up to this point. So that's something important to remember. I want to make sure that you know that as a detail. I don't want you expecting just because of that it will get the first slot, that it will make more money than all the other ones. That's where research and things like that really do come into play. So look, I know this is a real simple video, and I didn't go in depth about Acala. I really just wanted to give you a base idea of those items about the Parachain slots, also about the Crowdloan, also Acala. Now, remember, in the description, there's a link to how you can whitelist to Acala to get you an additional 10% of tokens if you participate in that, and also just the instructions on how to participate in a video, and then also more in-depth explanation. There's a link about that to understand truly how it all comes together with these Parachain slot auctions and the crowd loans that you are going to have an opportunity to participate in. I can tell by my analytics that most of you will likely be new to the channel, the ones who view this. So because of that, if you're interested in knowing about the other 4 projects that will get the first 5 slots, Acala being the first one, and I'm going to try to put these videos out quickly because the Parachain auction can be announced at any time. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notification so that when I do put out part 2 through 5, you'll be notified right away. And I'll continue to provide links so that you can research these projects so that you're able to zoom in and choose the one that you think is going to be right for you, or the 2 or however many you want to participate in. So make sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notification. Check out the link up above, and you can check out why I believe that Polkadot is going to go to $1,000, and also explain when I think it will happen. Hit the like button. It's absolutely free. It really does help the algorithm. Leave a comment, any questions you have about what I spoke about today or the upcoming content in terms of this Polkadot Parachain slot auctions, and I will make sure to get back with you, and I'll see you next time.